Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time.
Hey everyone, Ray Robinson here, host of the Unsensitive Podcast. You're probably wondering, what does unsensitive mean? Well, it's a completely made-up word to define a topic that is insensitive to talk about at family gatherings and parties, but you talk about them anyway. It's a podcast that you can send your most clueless family members to save them the embarrassment of asking these questions themselves. New episodes drop every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., part of the Fearscape Media Network, because quite honestly, what's scarier than facing your own misconceptions about the world around you?
Fearscape, a paranormal podcast, part of the Fearscape Media Network. Prepare to be spooked. New episodes every Wednesday on all major podcast platforms. Find out more at fearscapepodcast.com. Coming to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown. Your ghoulish hosts for an evening of terror. Stefan Gearhart and Lance Wayne, the Misters of the Dark.
Good evening, dear friends. Welcome to another terrifying episode of Misters of the Dark. As always, we're beaming directly to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown, and I'm your head, Mr. Stefan Gearhart.
And I'm your co-mister, the man with no name, Lance Wayne.
I'm sorry. Please pardon my persistent yawning. You see, me and Lance haven't been able to sleep all night, so we thought what better way to occupy ourselves than by binge watching the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But we've covered everything now, from the first 7 original films, the television series Freddy's Nightmares,
The shitty remake.
You watch your mouth. Yes, though. He's right. It hasn't seemed to work. I mean, I suppose we could watch the crossover film Freddy vs. Jason, but that does that even count as a nightmare film? I mean, yeah, Freddy is one of the main title characters, and it does largely take place in Springfield, but it ends up at Crystal Lake. Hell, it opens with Crystal Lake.
Stefan, take a look at this.
Hey, what is it?
Well, while digging around in my room, searching for my copy of the Bollywood version of Nightmare on Elm Street.
So good.
I stumbled across this lost relic.
An unproduced Nightmare on Elm Street prequel from 1987? That was a thing?
Ah, you haven't seen who it's written by.
John Saxon? Is that the guy from Enter the Dragon?
Sure is. So why don't we open up this bad boy and entertain our theater of the mind?
It's worth a shot.
Then let's get to it, shall we?
Yeah, I'm pumped about this, man, because I'm tired, and I like when you read me bedtime stories.
Oh, I do too. Here's your milk. Here's your non-diabetic cookies.
Ooh.
Let me tuck you in. All right. Now, young Stefan. This
I've
little
got Lance.
this little Tom. I feel like the grandpa from The Princess Bride. And your friend Seven.
This tawdry little tail
This little Tom
comes to you from the mind of someone great.
This little tome comes to us courtesy of a reoccurring feature that takes a look at intended yet unproduced horror sequels and remakes known as Phantom Limbs that can be found on the Bloody Disgusting website. Bloody Disgusting, great website.
Great website.
Always find horror news there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the author. I don't think it's giving me one. Okay, I can't find an order. I can't find an order for this.
It's from Bloody Disgusting.
Okay, we'll go with that. But yes, Phantom Limbs, Bloody Disgusting, awesome site. Get most of our information from there. I've been following them for years. But anyway, they have here that the late John Saxon, may I say.
We did not get to take him out.
Oh God, Steph. Have some taste.
He let God do the work.
Oh, but the late actor John Saxon's treatment for his proposed prequel.
This is what I love already. I love the fact that he's the one, because like when you like a layman, if you look at the Nightmare series, he would be the guy that you wouldn't expect to be super into Freddy. Like,
I know, yeah, that's what surprised me about it too.
Like, especially because he's had a pretty good career. So it ain't like Heather Langenkamp, who, just kind of sometimes has to live off Freddy. You know what I mean? Like,
Don't you dare say it on camera.
I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying I know.
Because I want her on this show sometime.
I know. But I'm just saying, like, I get her. I get Robert Englund, like, and stuff like that. It's like, I just wouldn't have expected this.
Well, Robert Englund, you got to think he also had V.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I would have expected this from him.
Yeah.
Because he loves Freddy, and like, he always loved playing it and things like that. But I just would have never thought about that.
Yeah.
Not only did he really enjoy it, but he was like, I'm gonna write a prequel.
Well, and just like an interview. I mean, I know the characters he played and stuff, but honestly, just interviews I've seen him in, he always seemed like a pretty straight-laced guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying that if you write a Freddy Krueger movie or
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But
but
same thing I'm saying. It's unexpected. So I'm very interested to hear his take on a prequel.
But let's see. It was written in 1987, the year before I was born.
Ooh.
And it featured Saxon's nightmare character, Springwood Police Lieutenant Donald Thompson, in the lead.
So if this was 87, what did we have? 3 of them out at this point? 4?
I know 4 came out in 88.
So
we had 3. It was up to
3. 4 was in production.
Yeah. But I just want to start off. Of course, he's in the lead.
Well, of course. I mean, if I'm gonna write a script, I'm gonna put
but I mean, and I'm not just saying.
But I mean, a prequel. I mean, I assume we're gonna be talking about the parents and shit. It's gonna need. Well,
yeah.
I guess he could have got away with it back then. He still was in that kind of age where he could have played younger and older.
I think he could have. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I mean, and honestly, and I know I'm joking, but honestly, if you weren't going to come up with a whole new character to, have to give us I cannot talk.
No, you can't. You're so excited, you can't talk.
But if you could not, an original character to give us, some kind of perspective, or whatever. I mean, you would go with him.
Right.
Because he was the one hunting them down.
Yep. But, I mean, this also implies that he had himself as the lead character with him as the actor, too. He could have was just saying, hey, we could get a younger guy to play me. He just wanted his.
I think he could have still done it.
Yeah, I do too.
Because, I mean, he looked, honestly, and this is no discredit to him because there's a picture of him right here in the article. He was a very handsome man, but he looks like he's 40 years old from the first Nightmare. And
I know. And I'm
Looked
saying
kinda like
I've seen a couple of flicks from where he was really young. He still looked 40.
Yeah, so he was just 40 years old since
He
the
just
day he
looked
was
like
born.
he'd kick your ass from day one.
Yeah. But let's see, where was I? Thompson Ali, how the nightmare on Elm Street all began. So I guess this is the title. Charts the fateful events leading up to Thompson and the parents of Springwood turning vigilante and executing accused child killer Freddy Krueger, leading to his ultimate resurrection as a dream demon who stalks his killer's children in their nightmares.
Already better than Freddy's Dead.
Really? No, I'm asking genuinely. Do you really, or are you just getting a goat?
I'm just getting your goat.
I no. Listen, Freddie. I was
I'm just
genuinely.
saying because Freddy's Dead's where they really tried to look at his origin and stuff a lot more. So.
And I think they did. I like those scenes personally.
Oh, I do too. I think
I like them mostly because Robert Englund. Yes, he's Freddy Krueger, but he's also
like Alice Cooper. That's all you like.
Well, true, Alice Cooper to play his father, but Robert Englund. Yeah, he's Freddy Krueger, but he's also one hell of an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And when he didn't have, he was just as scary in the the pre-burnt Freddy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, he scared me when I was little on V. That's where I
really.
That's where I first saw him. Was V because V was on TV. In the early '80s, Freddy wasn't on TV, and so but I watched V, and so then when I figured out that him and Freddy were the same guy, I thought that they were the same character because when he would rip his face off, I imagined that it was Freddy underneath then.
Oh my God. You came up with the craziest shit.
Oh man. Does it surprise you?
you were doing like having fan theories and shit.
Oh yeah.
And crossovers before it was cool.
Dude, I was doing slashy fiction before anybody was doing it.
Anyway, as you'll learn, writes, I'm just going to go say Phantom Limbs.
Yeah.
As you'll soon learn, Saxon's take on the franchise was fascinating and quite bold, taking big swings with the mythology set forth in the original film. So, you want me to, here, this is I'll tell you when something's a direct, because in here, they have just sort of, this article, they have it sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Briefly, just they get through the script briefly, but then at the same time, there's parts pulled directly out of the script. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is something pulled directly out of the script, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I apologize. I haven't had any sleep. So just forgive me. Don't kill me.
I would never kill you.
I wasn't talking to you.
Who else would I do this with?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't kill anybody.
There is the Mister's sister.
Yeah, she's just far away right now.
Not
for long.
Yeah, like me said. But Patchouli and Musk are in the air. Am I pronouncing that right?
Patchouli.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
what
I knew
is that.
It's that scent that old hippies always used to wear.
Okay.
It's it's considered a hippie scent, but I mean, in terms of Native American pagan-y type stuff, it's supposed to bring love and lust and stuff like that. It's that kind of scent, but it is now forever associated with hippies and pot because hippies always used to wear patchouli to cover the scent of pot.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ever being a hippie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But political and social turmoil, violence on campus, a president who refused to run again, the anthem of the young, make love, not war, are recent memories and conversation pieces. So this right here is pretty much setting up what time period this is.
Yeah, so it's got to be early 70s. Late 60s.
Well, let's continue.
Okay.
So begins Saxon's treatment, setting the stage for the tale of Donald Thompson, here a young rookie detective in the Springwood Police Department 15 years before the events of Wes Craven's 1984 horror classic.
Okay, so then 1969.
Yeah.
So my dad would have been 18 in 1969.
No shit. Got an old daddy.
Yep, he's a geese. He's 69 this year, and he keeps telling everybody it because he keeps thinking he's supposed to get 69 all year.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure we can end here because after that image put in my head, who needs nightmares, right?
Nope.
But anyway, as the tale opens, we find Thompson seeking out Betsy, his missing 15-year-old daughter, which I think is really interesting. He felt the need to,
like have another fucked up.
Yeah. He manages to find her in a hippie commune, having run away from home and fallen under the sway of Jimmy, Pied Piper-esque cult leader heading up a homeless bunch of kids playing house. Strong shades of Charles Manson here.
Oh, that makes sense too. Okay, so they're gonna go that commune type route. Okay.
Yeah. Betsy insists that her father stay and meet the absent Jimmy, but Thompson simply drags her away from the commune, all scored to the mad laughter of her new adopted family.
Essentially like the first Annabelle movie, how that daughter, the adopted daughter, she ended up joining a cult that was essentially the Manson cult.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So this kind of predates a lot of stuff that we would see in film later. It I don't know. To me, for some reason, made me think of the Rob Zombie's films, The Devil's, the House of 1,000 Corpses. Not so much that movie, but
like Devil's Rejects and stuff.
Devil's Rejects and 3 from Hell. That's what it kind of brought to mind for myself. But just really I don't know. I mean, the more I know we haven't got into a lot, but the more I'm reading, the more I'm like, I wish this was made.
And I wonder. Yeah, it's got to be, but I don't know if anything's said or not, if this is just his daughter or it is, from a previous marriage or something, or if this is him and the mother from the Nightmare Before Elm Street, if this is their 15-year-old kid.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked, because going back to the article, back at the Thompson residence, Donald and Betsy return, only to find a scornful Marge, Donald's wife, and Betsy's stepmother.
I called it. I knew it. Because I'm like, that's such a big difference. And even back then, Nancy would be like 4 or 5. So like, that's still a huge difference, like 11 years between them or whatever. So
let me continue.
Oh, contraire, mon frere.
Unhappy that the household's runaway has come home. There's no love lost between Marge and her stepdaughter, especially given that Marge focuses much of her attention and love on Nancy, her and Donald's 5-year-old daughter.
That bitch. Now, is this large Marge?
I was thinking Marge Simpson myself. But, I don't know. When was this? I don't know if The Simpsons came out. I don't know if they could have cast it.
Maybe 88, 89-ish. So close.
I don't know. Maybe they could have cast her. I don't know.
But yeah. So interesting, though. Interesting again. I'm with you on this 15-year-old, which could also explain why we never hear about this 15-year-old in the newer movie. And what else was I going to say? The stepmom dynamic is a classic one as to why she would run away, especially if she's like younger too. Like if Marge is younger.
Mm-hmm.
So,
mention is made of Marge drinking here, which will become worse by the time the events of the first nightmare roll around. Yeah, that's all.
Right, so she's already a lush. I always just assumed she drank because of the events that happened.
And that's what I assumed too. This is, this is another little interesting tidbit.
Yeah, so she's alcoholic from the get-go.
Locked. You're gonna get.
What if he met her in the drunk tank? Like she got busted. He arrested her, and it was like that Florence Nightingale or syndrome or whatever it's called.
Not even gonna elaborate on that. But anyway, it just made Betsy seems to enjoy the rift she's creating between her father and stepmother, which leads Marge to storm out with Nancy, leaving to stay with relatives until things straighten out.
Poor, his character, he just can't keep a marriage. That's all I'm saying.
I know shit, man. By the third one, he's a drunk.
Yeah.
If you remember, because they meet up with him in that bar, and he still won't even humor Nancy with the Freddy shit. But anyway, Thompson, exasperated and certain that his oldest daughter needs help, quietly looks for a therapist for Betsy. Scouring the local yellow pages for a possibility, he eventually runs across the number for a child therapist just south of his home on Elm Street. 1 F. Krueger.
Wait, so he's a therapist and a kid therapist, not just a janitor?
A child therapist.
I mean, dude does love kids.
I mean, I don't know. I'm going to go into a little bit more as we continue, but the remake, you can already tell, and it makes me wonder, did they have a peek at this?
Oh, I mean, you remember talking to Santiago, how anytime a script gets put forward, they steal shit from it.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
That shit happens all the time. So, yeah, I would not be surprised at all.
But anyway, he secretly visits, this is Donald, he secretly visits Mr. Krueger, a young, sensitive, bookish intellectual who wears a red and green sweater and limps. I don't know. I don't really know why they had to add that limp in. I don't know. I found that a little humorous. I don't know. But
because John Saxon can't have Robert Englund showing him up.
I guess not. I mean, but it's just like, and I know this is small, never got made, so why not? Well, I mean, he doesn't limp in any of the films. They don't say, oh,
and at least not up to that point. I mean, after that, nothing matters because his references are just these three, the first three films at this point. So it's like, yeah, he I don't know.
I just don't know why yet.
It seems pushed.
Yeah, but anyway, Krueger seems dedicated to his work with adolescents. Krueger suggests Thompson explain what the problem is, and so I guess they have a discussion. I mean, and I even like. I mean, oh, did I say he wears a red and green sweater?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just after the limp, I just kind of forgot everything else. But no, aside from the limp, like the, sensitive, bookish, intellectual, I like that.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that.
Well, it especially, when thinking of the first, because, those first two Freddy films at least, Freddy's a fucking monster in them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just, he's just pure and simple. Not that he isn't evil in the rest of them, but, like with the third, they always say you got the one-liner Freddy,
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he is pure monster evil for the first two.
But to think, that he just makes a transition like this, from, kind of a wormy, bookish, mousy type to...
Well, I mean, already what it's trying to do is it's trying to make you have sympathy.
Yeah.
For Fred Krueger.
Yeah.
He's a child killer. I don't want to have sympathy for him. So, but interesting take so far.
Yeah. Thompson convinces his daughter to meet with Krueger, even as she receives secret phone calls from her pals. She stays combative with Krueger during their sessions, even showing up to his office under the influence of LSD. It's during one of their I mean, that had to happen eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's during one of their talks that she admits to having feelings for her father.
Wait, like sexual feelings?
Let me continue. Before she begins rambling about committing violent acts, Krueger grows increasingly concerned with Betsy's behavior, eventually attempting to call Thompson, only to find out the detective is now too busy with his current investigation.
Lord.
So...
And I'm sure this investigation is going to tie in as well.
Well, I'll continue. A grisly, seemingly motiveless murder now dominates Thompson's time. A young boy has been killed, stabbed to death, with some kind of object that produces multiple stab wounds simultaneously. Did I say that right?
Simultaneously.
Thank
Lance,
you.
You're taking LSD.
I think I am. I could sure fucking use some.
Okay, so we are dealing with the Fred Krueger murders, then that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I didn't think that wouldn't be.
Yeah. Thompson, eager to prove himself as a solid detective, buries himself in his work, even as he ignores the warning signs surrounding his daughter and Krueger's growing concerns. So, right there. What did you think of that? What's your takeaway?
What, that last bit of information?
Mm-hmm.
Which part? What do you...
The what I just said. The Griesling seemingly, just the whole idea of the murder. Like up until this point, would you, assuming we've seen this film, we're watching it, it's unfolding before our eyes. Would you assume, okay, that's Fred Krueger?
Yeah.
Well, because of the first film, yeah.
Right. Because the way prequels are, that implies that you've seen the other movies.
Yeah. See, I would be growing concerned here myself. I would be thinking something's up, especially with the wild ass hippie cult daughter.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I think I'm getting a red herring vibe from her.
So you're getting this feeling that he never killed any of those kids, that it was her, and that's why he seeks his revenge, because it was all bullshit.
Yes, exactly. And that's why he singles out Nancy so much.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Let's see how it unfolds, because that is a very interesting thought.
In one wild sequence, Betsy spikes her father's coffee with LSD before he meets with Krueger. And this is something I found rather interesting. Disturbed by both the case he's working and Krueger's revelations regarding his own daughter's fantasies, Thompson finds the LSD and assists on taking hold of his subconscious. And this way, Saxon's treatment still allows for there to be nightmares present in the Nightmare prequel.
Well, that's what I thought with the first mention of LSD was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wondered if there would be this hallucination. God, now you got me doing it. This hallucination where, oh shit, what's the daughter's name?
Betsy.
So Betsy sees Krueger as the nightmare version of him.
Yeah.
Like I wondered. That was something I kind of thought in the back of my head. But yeah, very interesting, because yeah, with LSD, you could definitely go that route.
Yeah, I think, have they? I think they do it in Freddy vs. Jason, if I'm correct. Use some sort of, mind-altering substance in order. Like I said, the only instance I can think of, as far as the films, is in Freddy vs. Jason, where the dude, the token pothead or whatever, sees Freddy as the caterpillar.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. I don't have any recollection of any of that. No, wait.
No, there's other drugs, because there's the one where the kid's shooting heroin and has like the nightmare about heroin and.
Well, yeah, but yeah, you're talking about Taryn, but she isn't taking heroin. That's why she is in the hospital.
Right.
But that's Freddy's using that as a weakness. In the dream world. It's already the dream world.
Well, and wasn't the one dude like the video game one and Freddy's Dead?
Yes, that. I can't believe I forgot that. That's probably my favorite scenes of cinema.
Yeah, where where he's playing the fucking video game.
Yeah. Forgot about the power glove.
Yep.
People fucking hate that. I don't.
I love Freddy's Dead, man.
I mean, and if you don't, it's one of those things. It's like if you don't like it, I completely get it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like the hokey though. I like it.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, and this is taken directly from a script. The worlds converge in Thompson's mind with LSD. Heightened images of the mutilated corpse he has actually seen. The synergistic influence of the drug on what he is being told, on his unconscious conflicts, obliterate his grasp of reality altogether. A temporary nightmare psychosis occurs. Did I harm these people? That kind of confuses. I mean, that kind of confuses.
Not really, because like his biggest fear is becoming the people he hunts.
Yeah.
So I can see that. And especially if he's having problems with Marge, he's having problems with Betsy, and we know he's got a little bit of a temper. So yeah. I can absolutely see that for sure.
Well, and he also, I think he probably here wanted to get very surreal with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that to me, that's the Nightmare franchise. That was something that I always think, that's a word that always pops up, surreal.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I think they were just wanting to, because obviously he's a child of the 60s, John Saxon was.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably saw films like Easy Rider. And
he was in Bruce Lee film, man. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like those really drug heavy films. But anyway, I digress. Krueger, concerned by Thompson's state, takes him home only to be met by Betsy and a series of accusations. She tells her father that Krueger had drugged her, that she had all of these terrible nightmares. Krueger defends himself, but it does no good. Thompson becomes convinced by Betsy's lies. Daddy, you know why he gave me that stuff, so he could fuck me. And he tried, Daddy.
Oh Lord. So he's got two types of drugs. He's got a Mickey where he's knocking her out, and then one that causes her nightmares.
Yeah.
Okay. This reminds me of Nightbreed, where a dude kept giving
that is.
Yeah, when Cronenberg kept giving him all those drugs to fuck him up.
Yeah. Wow. Nice pull. Thompson attacks Krueger, nearly killing him in the process. The therapist races away, barely managing to escape with his life. Thompson collapses under the weight of his hallucinations. Tended to by his daughter, who tries to talk him through his trip, he has vivid nightmares of young women being assaulted by a faceless man, of himself examining the corpse of one of these victims, only to find that it is his own daughter. She springs to life, sticking her tongue down his throat.
God damn it.
A lot. I don't know if I was kind of concerned about the limp.
Yeah, that's what you were worried about.
I'm not so sure.
Now we're getting into psycho territory.
Yeah, well, I do not see. This is something that I think we could just done without the incest plot.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude, she's already, now you're just, Yeah. it's just, okay, she's on drugs, she's a hippie, she's in a cult, but she's also into incest.
I feel like he's writing this for himself, and he's like, man, I bet you I could cast Heather Locklear here.
Maybe.
That's all he wants is John Saxon wants to kiss Heather Locklear. That's what it all is.
Well, and I'm not sure. I mean, this was... Oh, God, I'm sorry. Okay, no, it was 87, right?
Yeah.
When this was produced or written. I mean, a movie like that, something. I mean, we see movies all the time. They have all of this and more. But... I mean, 87. I can't. I mean, like I said,
mean, it wasn't that long after that Sleepwalkers came out.
Sleepwalker. I'm not familiar.
That's the Stephen King movie where they turn into cats.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that whole thing is like incestual.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yep.
It's also batshit crazy and doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, but I love it.
I think that's one reason why I don't know. I don't count that because that's just so bad shit. It's just like, honestly, the incest doesn't even play honestly too far into it because it's just so bad shit. I mean, his face turns into a baby at one point.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna have to cover that sometime.
Oh, I'd love to. I love it.
Yeah, that. So, any of you, all two of the Misters of the Dark fans out there, we will be covering Sleepwalkers at some point.
Talking to you, Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria. Brad.
And Brad.
Anyway, Thompson starts awake, finding himself in his daughter's bed, sweaty and clad only in his underwear.
No, so they...
Wait, there's more!
Mm-hmm.
His daughter is there, wrapped in a kimono, keeping a close eye on him. Thompson questions her about his being nearly naked, to which Betsy responds that she only brought him into her room to keep an eye on him.
This is starting to be like the baby now.
It's just like...
So weird. It's so...
I'm going to wait
random.
till the end. Like, I think there's a lot of reasons this didn't get produced. I think there's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to wait to the end to give my biggest reason why I don't think. But anyway, okay, I'll continue. He hallucinates further as Betsy invites some of her friends into the house to party.
Oh, so he's still hallucinating at this point. Okay.
Yes. But, he's kind of... He has lucid moments.
Right.
We should say.
Yeah.
But after more drug-fueled visions of children playing in a park and being tied down by Lilliputian kids as though he were Gulliver. I know I pronounced that wrong.
Lilliputian kids. So yeah, this is the Gulliver's Travels. So remember, he went to Lilliput. So they're all these tiny little people, and they tied him down to the ground and all kinds of shit like that. So Lilliputian kids, that makes sense.
As though he were Gulliver, Thompson awakens the next morning to find Betsy gone and his house trashed. The department calls, wondering where in the hell their detective is.
And so, of course, we're left to wonder: did it really happen?
Of course, yeah. That is. It's kind of the genius of this, I guess. Thompson arrives at the morgue to find yet another child murdered. This one, a young girl named Alice, the daughter of a friend. He has quotations here, and Alice, and I'm not really sure why. I know there's an Alice eventually in the film series.
Maybe, or that is to imply it's a certain like set of parents that got mentioned or something.
But I can't recall. I mean,
yeah.
So never mind. The daughter of a friend. When Thompson discovers that Alice had been seeing Krueger for various problems, he launches into an investigation of the therapist, stalking Krueger and illegally searching his office after hours. Thompson soon discovers that Krueger is quite popular with the kids at the local high school. They even nicknamed him Dr. Deep. All right. So, you have anything to say?
I would have named him Dr. Dreamy.
I hate you for your pun, but I do think that's a good idea. I don't know. I mean, man, come on. We're having child murders, incest. Dude, this is just going overboard.
Yeah. I was really excited about this, but it's getting weird.
Yeah.
Weird for us.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Betsy plants various ideas in her father's head about Krueger. He's weird, Dad. All he wanted to talk about was weird, violent things and killing. I betcha he killed Alice. Even as Thompson notes how easily Krueger seems to intrigate, and great. He seems to like get along with the young students.
Integrate?
I'm just gonna say that. Yes. God, I can't talk today. I really do. I think I got Betsy. Damn you! She slipped me some damn LSD.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you got that from your dad.
Probably. No, my dad's too conservative. Maybe my Uncle Greg, but
Yes, this is true.
Betsy eventually attends a strange ritual with her hippie commune, presided over by a bearded, wiry young man with black hair and glowing eyes. His face has some shamanistic marking painted on it. This is Jimmy. The cultist leads his followers in a ritual that sees them burning a wooden doll of Dr. Deep in effigy in the large bonfire roaring before them.
Dr. Deep, I can't.
It's just, dude, Jesus. Meanwhile, Thompson visits Krueger under the pretense of offering an apology. Krueger takes the opportunity to warn Thompson about his daughter, noting that she seems to be a good kid who's being led into trouble. When the therapist warns Thompson to keep a close eye on his daughter, the detective hears a threat and makes one himself. If anything happens to her, I'll kill you myself. Oh, what?
I think he's got anger issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't know. Maybe he's still on the LSD. I don't know. But why? That doesn't connect.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the next crime scene, Thompson is called to. He discovers that the victim in question is Betsy, found in a pool of her own blood.
Oh, shit.
Thompson, grief-stricken and enraged, notices a message painted on the apartment's refrigerator in Betsy's blood. Deep.
Oh.
Soon, Krueger
theory wrong that it was Betsy killing everybody.
Yeah, true. This is true.
Betsy's dead.
I mean, but you gotta admit, man, that it caught me off guard.
But at this point, they're moving the red herring from Betsy to Jimmy.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even take that into account. I guess because you really don't see Jimmy. You don't see him till halfway through this.
Yeah, but now we're wondering, was she murdered at this ritual? Was it Jimmy that did it?
She was obviously pulling her own blood. Yeah, it doesn't say if it was at the ritual or not, but obviously.
Yeah.
It had Soon Krueger is in handcuffs and Marge has returned home to Thompson, Nancy in tow. As Thompson and Marge fight, they each use Krueger's name in anger. Their daughter hears this, imitating them. Krueger, little Nancy Thompson, even now already fearing the figure who will terrorize her several years down the line.
That's kind of neat. I
like that. I really like that too. I thought that was a really nice touch because to me, and I think it's. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but for a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street fans, like Nancy is the only one to better Freddy.
Yeah.
I mean, she is sort of the yin to his yang. It's almost a Joker Batman.
Sure.
Relation, that kind of, and I mean, that's how I've always seen it. So to kind of set that, have those ties going that far back in this franchise or whatever, I thought it was pretty neat as well. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, I'm going to leave that in. Krueger is being questioned. He is stalwart and angry. Why does he hang around with kids? Because he likes kids and is writing a book about growing up in the 60s.
And he's a child psychologist.
The cops smirk and look at each other. Can he prove his whereabouts at the specific times of the murders? Probably, yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not mad that the dude's hanging out with kids. That's his job. If he's a school...
Yeah.
I don't know. He's Dr. Deep.
Yeah, but I mean... I'm going to wait till the end. Ultimately realizing that they have nothing to hold him on, the cops release Krueger. However, as we all know from the backstory set forth in the first nightmare, the parents of Springwood will not simply let this matter rest. A group of about 10 meet in the basement of Thompson's home. The detective and this collection of burgeoning vigilantes discussing what to do with Krueger. Torture and murder is suggested. Jesus.
Lord. They don't even have any proof at this point.
No!
Like,
No.
at least in the original movie, it seemed that they had proof.
Yeah.
Everything was up in the air. They just wanted to handle it their own way.
Yeah. Before Thompson insists that they simply cannot take the law into their own hands, he then suggests that they simply get Krueger to confess what he's done. The group reluctantly agrees on this course of action.
I am the law.
I am the law.
I am the
law. Thompson breaks into Krueger's cabin. I'm going to wait till the end. Thompson breaks into Krueger's cabin, drugs him, and brings him back to the basement to stand trial before the parents of Springwood. Damn, this escalated quickly.
Right, so here's the guy that's really unsure about doing all this, yet is the guy that ends up kidnapping him. Makes sense.
They demand the truth, so Krueger gives it to them. This is taken directly from the script. They have been unloving, uncaring parents, just as their parents before them were unloving. They need to accept that and forgive themselves and start fresh. Look for love in themselves, not look for him to confess to what he didn't do. They have to accept that. They didn't love their children. A shovel cracks Krueger's head. You don't know what you're doing in mid-sentence. He falls, blood streaming across his face. Don't do this. I'm not guilty. You are. Forgive yourselves. Enraged at what they've heard and no longer caring to adhere to any law, the group lights up torches. You don't know what you're doing, Krueger screams. The parents burn Krueger to death.
My God.
All this for being a child psychologist.
I know. Makes the remake look good.
I'm going to wait till the end. Sometime later, Thompson is called to hear the confession of a girl in custody at the police station. He listens to her account through the one-way glass of the interrogation room. She admits to her involvement in a series of slayings, including Betsy's murder, noting that there were others involved in the killings as well. She tells the police that they were all directed by Jimmy. He sees himself as God. So Fred Krueger was indeed innocent, just like he said.
Oh my God.
And who you had no fucking proof on anyway.
Man,
but I'm gonna wait.
Talk about retconning, man.
But I'm going to wait till the end. The revelation tortures Thompson. He suffers nightmares, screaming out Krueger's name at night. Marge Krueger! Marge does her best to comfort him, plying him with booze. Because that always works.
That's what Marge does, man.
Yeah. The both of them sliding further into alcoholism to deal with their problems. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, little Nancy Thompson still has concerns about this Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
It's almost like the oh my God, goosebumps.
Keep or a Freddy Krueger.
Hey, fucking the way this thing's going, I could see the Swedish Chef Swedish Chef making an appearance. She's heard so much about it. She's heard so much about in the household. Though her parents assure her that she's safe and that they will protect her, she's beginning to have nightmares of her own. As Saxon's treatment ends, he gives us one single moment with the iconic slasher that the franchise is known for. And this is directly from the script. Back in their bedroom, the Thompsons take another drink and flop into bed. A blood-curdling scream from Nancy's room. Cut to Nancy. Nancy screams hysterically as she envisions Freddy Krueger. This is directly from the script.
Right.
As we have all come to know and love him. I'm just gonna read the this author his final take on it.
I like how this still does not say how he became Freddy.
Well,
it just says he burned up, and then he's Freddy.
Yeah. Saxon's take on Krueger's origin story is an eye-opener, blending in Manson-like cultist and an uncomfortable incest to say the fucking least,
right,
into the series mythology, along with the revelation that Freddy was indeed innocent before his untimely end, and an eventual resurrection as a wicked supernatural murderer. An idea that was briefly touched upon in Platinum Dune's 2010 remake, as we said earlier. Mm-hmm. Even though Saxon's story never made it before cameras, it still lands as an entertaining standalone story, an intriguing what-if bit of Hollywood horror history. Okay, we are at the end, and I got some things to say.
I've been waiting.
Yes. This had some very interesting ideas.
So much potential.
It had that, yes. Fair.
So much, because I did like the Manson culty stuff.
I did too.
I'm in.
I liked, which is something I liked about, I will say this is the first from the man with no name, which is something I did like about the 2010 remake. I did everything else, but I liked that idea.
Which aspect?
Him being innocent. Or him maybe being innocent.
Yeah, he was not innocent.
But I think they could have made this. I think they still could make something along these lines.
Yeah, but you can't at this point, you can't play the innocence angle, because the innocent angle implies there's room for redemption. And what makes Freddy so evil is that he is indeed guilty of these crimes.
Yes.
And the fact that he wants revenge after they got revenge is even better.
Yes, and see, this is what I was getting at. This is what about halfway through was like, really, is like, if they would have just went with this,
as
like
is.
I said, yeah. But I think they could have done it, and like I said, I know you disagree that they shouldn't do the whole Freddy may be innocent thing anymore. I'd still kind of like to see it done well myself, but you know, they
could retcon it for sure. I mean, I see comics all the time.
Yeah, and I see your point of view perfectly, but if they would have went with this vision, it would have killed the franchise. Because, okay, what do we say? It's 87. There have been 3 Freddy movies up to this point. Freddy is the ultimate boogeyman. You know, he's the 80s answer to, you know,
Dracula.
Yeah, along with, you know, Jason and that whole group. But you could not have made you could not have made he would have been Rambo at that point. He would have been a horror Rambo, because if you revealed all of this you would have been like, fucking Freddy's not evil.
My point.
Yes, exactly. They made John Saxon Donald.
Because in a way, his revenge would have been justified.
Exactly. They made Donald Thompson out to be such an asshole.
Mm-hmm. And it does. And which I'm sure he was thinking, he's like, the humans are the monsters.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure that's what he was thinking.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, no, I mean, you could maybe play that revenge angle and that he still can't be redeemed. Maybe he's gone too far or some shit like that because, you know, after 3 movies, let alone 3 movies, he's murdered a ton of people. So,
well,
I don't know, but still, like,
you could almost even, which they've kind of done before. It's more so done in other films, like they even do it kind of in the Friday the 13th films, and it's mostly it's done at its best with Candyman.
mm-hmm.
But you could even play up the whole urban legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they killed him. He was innocent, but he comes back for revenge. You know what I'm kind of getting at?
Mm-hmm.
Comes
back for revenge against the teens that put him in the position in the first place.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no way you're I don't know, man. This is God, I feel like I'm on drugs after reading
it started so strong.
It did.
And I don't even mind the LSD stuff. But the
I don't
incest
either.
stuff is really fucking weird.
I don't care for the
don't
incest.
think you needed to make Freddy a fucking child psychologist. I still think he could have been Dr. Deep even as a janitor because he could have been the janitor that gave all the kids advice.
I like the psychiatrist thing.
You know, I don't like that.
I like that. I like that idea.
Well, I mean,
he could have been a teacher.
Now, I like that if he was indeed the killer, because that could be why he got into the profession, was to kill these kids.
Yeah.
Or that's what caused him to kill kids, is because he saw how dark they were or some shit like that. But that's not the established continuity up to that point. So, up to that point, he was just a janitor in a school. And so, like I said, you could have still played that.
They did. Yeah.
Depending on how old they decided to make Fred Krueger before he died, he could have been like a counselor at the school or a teacher and kind of lost his job. But at that time, you kind of hid that stuff, so he got to keep a job, right? So they made him a janitor or some shit. I don't know.
Well, they do. I think they do establish in 2 that he worked. I'm not sure what his job was, but they say something because I know they drive out to like a broken down industrial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like a maintenance guy or some shit.
Yeah,
because the boilers and all that stuff, that's part of his lore.
But
if you make him a child psychologist, it loses that lore. It's only, he was burned in a place that had a boiler.
I think number 2 though, they've also kind of like, as far as the continuity goes, I think it's kind of like not part of it. Because they say like it broke too many rules and things like that. Yeah. I like to. I love my favorite.
I think it's neat. I think it was a cool.
Yeah. It's not my favorite one by any means, but
it doesn't break continuity for me at all. Who are we to know exactly what all of Freddy's powers are?
Yeah, and I mean, it's on to me. This is just personal take, but. It has my favorite Freddy makeup. I love that design. I love the makeup in that film.
It's creepy as hell. And then the other thing is like, because I like that idea that he worked in the basement of this school, that he was a janitor. They had this boiler and this cistern and all this stuff, because man, in 3 where you see him first building his glove, like there's something.
1.
Is it the first one?
First one, yeah. It's the intro.
I thought it was the third one.
Because there's that take. He comes in, he's building it.
Yeah.
Which I think is eerie because you don't even know.
Yeah. And I like that. That makes him even scarier because it already says he was a monster before he became a physical monster. Like,
well, but I like it because you're not too sure. Is he building this before he's killed,
Right.
or is he? Because that's when these killings start.
Yeah.
Right after that. I mean, literally, because you have them building it and putting it all together and stuff. Then there's the
right. And then again, why does he have this glove if he was innocent? Like, why does he use this glove? You know what I mean? There's just so many like things that this script just doesn't. It's too far. It's too much of a retcon. Like, it's too much. It takes too much to be that close to the movies. Like, if that came out now, they could probably get away with it a little bit more because it's been so long since we've had a Freddy movie. But like, let's say this was made in place of Freddy 4, or even it came out as the 5th movie, right? It was a prequel. It's still too close. There's too much. There's just too much history and continuity at that point, and people would be like, what is this?
Yeah. Like I said, I see it completely, your point of view, but I think with some revisions and things like that, it could have been done.
Sure.
But,
yeah. If somebody, and that's what would have happened if this would have even gotten to that point, a real screenwriter would have taken over and rewritten the whole thing.
Yeah.
And just kept pieces of it, and hopefully not the incest part.
But oh God, yeah. But I do believe, man. And I know, I mean, hell, here we are. We're reading it now, how it never got made.
We're reading beats. We're not even reading the full story, right? So we don't know if there was more into why the incest thing happened. Because from the standpoint of just reading that article, it's completely random.
Yeah.
And has no value other than shock value.
Yeah, and it would have, and like I said earlier, if they would have made this how it is written, and not changed one iota, it would have killed the franchise.
It would have killed. Absolutely.
It would have killed it, because it's like you said, it's just too out there.
Yeah.
And
it's too out there without any comedy aspects, and not really much horror aspect either. It's more thriller.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Psychological thriller, I guess, if you add in the LSD stuff.
Because, let's see. Okay, part 4 came out in 1988. Part 3, see, because by two, Freddy wasn't he wasn't really wise cracking.
No.
He was still pretty dark.
I mean, he's always had one-liners, but they weren't the dark comedy that it became.
Yeah, I mean, by third, he's getting ready to kill Jojo Gabar, or whatever the hell her name is. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's, welcome to prime time, bitch. He's full on. But yeah. Would love to hear other people's opinions on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I gotta be honest. It's not really putting me to sleep. It kind of has kept me up.
Yeah, it has me up questioning a lot of things.
And with that, dear friends, we come to the end of another delightfully disturbing episode of Misters of the Dark. As always, thank you for staying up with us and listening. Thank you to the Fearscape Media Network, and thank you to Corey Adams and Ashley Jones Adams from Nothing Wrong for our musical theme that I'm going to try to use as a lullaby tonight and sleep to. Well, regardless of whether I'm actually sleepy or not anyways, I think I'm just going to go ahead and turn in, Lance.
Yeah, I suppose I'll do the same. Say, when did you decide to redecorate in here?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Why the color scheme, you fool?
What color scheme?
Yes, I know we've just sat through 20 hours of Robert Englund butchering 30-year-old teenagers. The red and green? Seriously, Stefan, how keepsy?
Uh-oh.
I'll say, why not just go ahead and stick pin needles in my eyes?
Lance, shut up. I think we have bigger problems than pins and needles.
Bigger problem. What are you?
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
Oh, I see.
Yeah, me too. I'd say that that's a good time as any to go ahead and wrap things up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but before we go, dear friends, I'll leave you with this. Remember, sleep kills. Good night.
Good night.